Here we have the new 2026 Honda Passport. This one comes in the RTL trim level, all-wheel drive. Modern steel's the paint, and then we have black leather interior. The powertrain consists of a 285 horsepower, 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6 engine that's mated with a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, as we come around to the front end here, I actually really like the styling of the new Passports. We get the LED headlamps along with the LED daytime running lights here. The lights don't dance like that. That's just how my camera's picking them up. But I just think they did such a great job with just making this look modern as opposed to the outgoing model. Now down here to these wheels, these are going to be 18-inch alloy. Like that as well, looks really good. Passive keyless entry on the front doors. And then to the door panel here, memory seat functions. And then we do get one-touch up and down windows on all 4 doors. Rear window lock there, power door lock controls, power mirror controls. And then we do get blind spot monitors in the side mirrors. And a pretty usable door panel here, bottle holder there, pocket, lift gate control, and then hood release right in here. This has a little bit of plastic still on it, so I apologize for that. We get a manual tilt telescoping steering wheel. And there is our 10-way power driver's seat, which includes 2-way power lumbar support. But a huge thanks to Darrell Waltrip Honda here in Franklin, Tennessee for allowing me to review this Passport today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. Now, I would show the window sticker, but that tint's pretty dark. I have the seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs, so pretty good space back here. If I sit all the way up, legs are just barely brushing the back of the seat here. Seat back pockets are on both sides. Rear AC vents, and then we do get 2 USB-C charge ports right down there. And there's a look at the front from back here. And plenty of headroom without having a sunroof, so I really like how they maximize the space in here. Bottle holders in the middle. And there's our grab handle. You can hang a shirt, pair of pants here if you need to. The child locks are on, so I have to roll this down. Your child locks, you lock and then unlock there. There's the fuel filler. As we come around to the back end, interesting design choice. It does look like a Passport. We do get the LED tail lights, but it's interesting, kind of quirky almost compared to the front, which I think looks rather sleek. But plenty of cargo space. You can see the second row of the top tethers are integrated on the back of the seats themselves. Again, very usable for your cargo space. You get a side pocket here, side pocket here. Then you have an additional storage tray here and another one on this side. And a 12-volt over here as well. And then let's see what's underneath the all-weather mat here. Lift up here, and there's a spare, and then more storage. So that's pretty impressive, and I like the subtlety of the mountains on the back of that cover there. That's pretty interesting. Now as we come around in the rear passenger seat, lower anchors stuck up right there. I like that positioning. It doesn't seem like it kind of messes up your seating, makes it uncomfortable, but it is very easy to get to. Then pull this up here. Pretty easy to fold the seats flat and run longer objects through to the front. And then it's like nothing to slap it back into place. And then our front passenger seat, 4-way power. Then a lockable glove compartment there with the owner's manual. And then I like how we have a tray integrated here. Now as we come back around to the front, just a quick look in the engine bay. Again, mostly covered up there, but that's a 3.5 liter V6. Now before we hop in, let's take a look at the blinkers. And now let's hop in the driver's seat. Some nice leather wrap steering wheel here. There's the horn. Over here to the radio, I'm just gonna kind of show you everything on this home page here. We can change what's shown here. We do have a Google Assistant built in. And then we have our AM and FM radio along with Bluetooth, wireless CarPlay, and Android Auto compatibility. You have Alexa, access to Google Maps. Your vehicle settings are in here, so you can fool with all of that that's shown. And then we have our general settings here. And we can change our language. And then I like that you can kind of separate them too. That's something I don't think I've ever seen. So very interesting. And I'll just give you a quick run through of all the apps here. You can pause anywhere you need to if you want to take a closer look at any of that. Backup cameras there. Guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. And then we do have the angles that we can change. Volume knobs here. You can click there to mute. And then we do have the Passport logo right there, which is interesting. Kind of like it. It's subtle, but it's nice. Hazards. And down here, dual zone automatic climate controls. We have 3-stage heated seats, and then we can change our fan direction here. The rear, we can turn that on or off, and then we can go to those settings and adjust that fan speed or temperature there. Down here, 2 USB-C ports. One of these connects to the radio, the other one's just for charging. The 12 volt here. Wireless charging pad here, then a second spot while a phone might be on a fast charger. Now for the shifter, push button, so hit the brake, park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then you do have the sport mode, and then you can use the paddle shifters behind the steering wheel if you want to go into a manual mode there. Now for your drive mode, since this is all-wheel drive, you get quite a few. You have your sport, normal, econ, snow, trail, sand, and then your tow mode there. And then you do have your automatic or your auto stop toggle there, and then you have your downhill brake control or hill descent there. Automatic brake holds here, then your electronic parking brake. You pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down to disengage. Center console cubby space here. There's a look at the back seat. And then you have a sunglasses holder. The lights here. There's your vanity mirror. Then back to the steering wheel, left side stalk. Then you have your high beams, intermittent wipers, one time off, intermittent low high. You can adjust that intermittent frequency here. And then you have your rear wiper, intermittent on there, and then fluid for the rear, pull up there for the front fluid. Now left side of the steering wheel, we can go through the track list, radio station presets, adjust volume, and then we have our voice recognition control here, and you can use this to go through the sources there in the radio and customize the display. And then this side, you have the adaptive cruise. You can turn on or off, cancel, set the speed, then your lane centering's here, and the gap adjust for the adaptive cruise is there. And then this you can use to scroll through your tire pressure monitors. You want to adjust the brightness, the gauge display. Here you can change your units of measurement if you want to do that. And then you also can see your range and fuel, which that's what I always like to have it on, just so I can see that. Push button start here. Finally, here's the key fob with remote start. Next, let's go ahead and take this 2026 Passport RTL out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Passport here, what's interesting about this, I think, is it drives like the older Passport in so many ways, just having the all-wheel drive system here, that kind of in between a Honda Pilot and a Jeep steering feel. I like what they've done here. We still get the capability of an all-wheel drive system on this one. 285 horsepower V6. We don't have any turbos here for those of us that don't like that. But it's a very nice vehicle to be under 50,000, I think. Now you can go up a few trim levels, but I think this one's pretty solid for what you get. You get the dual zone climate controls, the heated seats. You still have your Honda sensing system with the adaptive cruise and the lane centering. There's just a lot here. But again, what most people go for this for is for that V6 and all-wheel drive capability, just being off-road oriented in that sense. And that hasn't changed. You just have a much more good-looking design, in my opinion. And relatively quiet, again, for this to be an all-wheel drive off-road oriented vehicle. I just drove a Honda Civic Sport, and on the road here, that was much louder than this is. Not that it was bad, but this is just relatively quiet again. Now, with it being a 10-speed, I feel like it does have a tendency to shift a bit too much. But like most 10-speed transmissions, that's kind of just the way of the game. If you have to hit the brake, it'll try and downshift for you. If you have to hit the throttle, it'll try and, you know, shift down so that you can get up in speed. But when you're trying to hit the brakes and then gas it or something like that, the vehicle can get a bit confused. But again, pretty much all vehicles with an automatic transmission do that if it's more than 6 gears. Pretty quick in sport mode. That's even without the sport shift, so that's pretty nice. I'm gonna put in that mode there. Here we go. Yeah, that is that's actually really nice. Very quick. And I mean, the pull is fantastic. It really does give you that naturally aspirated V6 that you would want in a vehicle. I feel like so many vehicles these days with the V6s, it's almost like they're detuned. They don't like to really get up and go. But this right here is very nice, very quick. Now, I want to give another thanks to Darrell Waltrip Honda here in Franklin, Tennessee for allowing me to review this Passport today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your info, and I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever new vehicle you might be interested in. But it floats down the road. Again, for this to be an off-road vehicle, it does a fantastic job of just chilling here. It's very subtle, good ride quality. It's very impressive. But I think for the money, this is not bad at all. Again, this RTL trim, you still get your leather, you get your adaptive cruise, your lane centering. Nice system here. You don't have XM radio, but you still have access to your wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, which is what I use 99% of the time anyway. Your wireless charging pad, dual zone climate controls. And then you get a 9-speaker sound system in here that's actually pretty solid. And just really no complaints from the Passport overall. I'm very impressed by the package here. Again, the power is good, having the all-wheel drive is great. And you put this thing in a sport mode, and honestly, that shift lag goes away. I mean, it really is sporty. And you know, the Econ, that mode is more for efficiency, which is probably why it tries to shift a bit more. But again, the sport mode is fantastic for this kind of vehicle. It really is. And I think a really good option if you're in the market for something like this, I think about the 4Runner, probably the biggest competitor for this. And it's a great vehicle. So with all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2026 Honda Passport RTL.